So of my many complaints, I think my biggest one with the individual Mike and I are going to talk about is that if I were going to come up with a nickname for myself, I could get as creative as she did and call myself Kelly Tool. And it would be nearly as clever as Rachel Raygun Gunn. But that's just the start of my problems with it. So I know the world has been waiting for Bog Panda to weigh in on Australian breakdance um, superstar Raygun Gunn. So that's what we're going to do briefly today. Um, were you enthralled, Mike, during the Summer Olympics when she did whatever she did?
I mean, she made choices. I mean, so here's the thing. I can understand the mentality because I do believe her when she says that she went into it not expecting to win.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
that's at least 2% self awareness. Good. That's
Yeah,
good.
there was at least enough self-awareness for her to go, I'm not the best at this. I'm not going to be taken home cold here. So I believe her when she says that. I don't think anybody saw prior to the dance itself that anybody saw a zero score coming. Um, but I get the mentality of like, I'm going to lose. I'll at least try and do something memorable. Maybe I'll get a couple headlines out of it. I get that mentality. Swing for the fences. You have nothing to lose. That's the most positive that I can be about it.
Yeah, and it's a nurturing community, the breakdance community. So I'm sure she felt she'd be warmly received. I mean, but it's a little unclear, and there have been a lot of uh, incorrect things shared that have gone on, like the that her significant other was rigged the system for her to be the one in the Olympics and all that. These are makes a good story, doesn't make it a actually true story. So that doesn't appear to be the case. But I am wondering what the breakdancing community of Australia consists of, if this is their entry into the Olympics.
So yeah, there was to Kelly's point, there was a lot of people questioning how this happened. And her, I don't know if they're married, I'm gonna say husband or partner, whoever he is apparently a better respected person in that community. And it was thought that obviously he made this happen because he couldn't qualify being a judge. So he made sure that his wife or significant other got in there, even though clearly she wouldn't be up to the standards of it. Apparently, though, that isn't what happened. So I've seen some stuff, some interviews with people. They don't get too specific, but I feel like they spelled it out pretty clearly as much as they could, being diplomatic about it, which was there's not a huge breakdancing community in Australia to begin with, and that there are a lot of rules to qualify for the Olympics, and that they very quickly ran into an issue during their qualifying rounds where they found that most of the people who came out, who are, let's just say, probably objectively better at the sport, uh, did not meet the Olympic standards. There's a lot of boxes you need to check in order to go to the Olympics that have nothing to do with your ability at whatever your sport is. Different background things and things like that. So from what the
I think you've
one
got to eat a squirrel, is one of them. I think I can't remember exactly. I'll have to go back and look. But I'm pretty certain eat a squirrel, a live squirrel is one of them, but I could be wrong.
but yeah, apparently there's a lot of specific criteria in order to be considered for the Olympics that has nothing to do with your ability for the sport. And according to one of the people who was involved in the selection process, there's not a huge pool of people. And of the people who came out, most of them were immediately disqualified from competing because they didn't check every box for the Olympic Committee. So before there was ever any competition to see who would go, other people who might have been better representatives for the country were disqualified from being a part of it. So it's not that her husband or significant other did something. It came down to a couple of people and she beat out whoever was left of this already kind of small pool of people. And a couple of other dancers who had gone out to try and be a part of this have spoken up as well and basically said the same things that, they've absolutely destroyed her in competitions before and there's much better representation from their country, but when they got there they didn't qualify because nobody was informed of these different rules and criteria ahead of time.
Yeah. So which do you think feels worse? The fact that videos of your performance uh, are being aggressively taken down so that no one can see them. So they're looking to basically deny the existence of it, make it vanish, go down the memory hole. So do you feel worse about that, or do you feel worse about it? You managed to get your sport removed from the next Olympic game.
Yeah. I think getting the entire sport removed is the worst thing because it's one thing, like a lot of the dancers they were interviewing from Australia were mad, not at her necessarily. They weren't saying she was a bad person or anything like that. It was more like, this is such a poor representation of our country, we'll never be taken seriously. And, we were put in a position where we weren't able to put our best foot forward because of these criteria that we didn't know about in enough time. So I understand that. But now the whole sport is being thrown out of the Olympics because of one person who, again, is only there because of a weird sort of loophole in the criteria. So, yeah. The two people who should feel bad are obviously she's going to continue to get a lot of hate now for the not just for doing poorly, but for getting the sport removed. I want to know because it they did specifically say it wasn't just her. She did compete against somebody to qualify. Who lost to her from the remaining pool of a couple of people who were who still met the criteria in order to be a part of that qualifying competition? Who lost to her? And they were like, well, I guess the kangaroo hopping lady's going.
Yeah, and doing the sprinkler, that's the thing kids are doing today in breaking. So that
Got to be honest though, I think the most embarrassing part of it, and I've seen a couple of people mention this, it's not the performance because it's bad. It's comically bad. And I will say though that it makes me feel like I could be in the Olympics, which is nice. I guess it's empowering in that sense. Um, it's at the end of it, she looks like she doesn't know what just happened. Like she had a look on her face like she was satisfied with that performance. And that's the most, for me, like questionable part of it all. And I'm sure for somebody who could actually dance and take and, devotes a huge amount of their lives to this sport, like probably the most infuriating part of it. It's her face at the end of her dance because you can tell she feels like nailed it
yeah.
when she finished
Not that you could probably find the video to see that anymore, but
that.
trust Mike. He speaks the truth here. Yeah. So, but there is time. So, folks, I'm sure everyone knows their local Olympic representative. So, got their email handy. Start lobbying for synchronized breakdancing so that Mike and I can have our Olympic moment. We're open to eating live squirrels if that's what's required to get on the Olympic team. We've heard that's the case, so we're open to doing that. Um, and we'll do it on a show for you. So we'll eat those live squirrels on a show if you can get synchronized breakdancing in there, and we will put on quite a show.
Please be as good as what she did.
Oh yeah, I would hope. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I do. eh, I mean, there was at least. I think she still might be better than me, but I don't consider myself an Olympic level breakdancer either. So, matter of fact, I know she's probably better than me. But um, on that humble note, I don't really have anything else to share. Do you, sir?
No.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bog Panda.